Hey people, how are you? It's nice to be back again with another DIY tutorial, and today we'll be making this paperback short. I've actually been seeing this short for a while now and they seem to be back on trend. For the tutorial, if you do not have a short pattern, we'll be making ours from an existing high-waisted denim short and moving further manipulations on the pattern to what we want it to be. The first thing I did was to place a pattern paper, and then I looked for the short crotch, which I folded into two and placed the short on the pattern paper, and then I traced around it. Once the tracing was done, I came back to redraw the traced line. I then brought in the short to remeasure it so that it matches with the pattern that we just traced. Using my hip measurement, I measured it on the waistline and redrew the side with the extension and extra allowance for wearing is. And at the waistline, I did a 3 inches marking upwards and 2 inches at the length of the short. I did the tracing for the front short, added the necessary allowance at the side, top, length, and then brought in the pattern to make sure they match, and finally cut out the pattern. At the front pattern, I did the measuring of 3 inches inwards and 8 inches on the side, and brought in a paper to trace the pocket lining. I laid out the front and back pattern with 1/2 inch allowance around it, and then I cut it out. And I did the marking for the seam and finally cut out the pocket. To start the sewing, I ironed the pocket folding and placed the pocket lining, matching it to the side and pinning it, and then I sewed it. Once the side pocket is sewn, I pressed in and I brought in the back cutout and pinned it to the front side. And I did a 1/2 inch seam on the side, and I also top stitched that seam.
I loved your sister. She was supposed to be your sister, too.
I folded in 2 inches in allowance at the length of the short and pressed it in. And I pinned the 2 back crotch length seam. Sewed it, and folded in the seam as a flat fold.
I guess we need both. He's mad you broke up with him.
And then did another sewing at the edge of it for a clean finish. So for flat felt seam, you can usually see them on pants and you can see them in shirt making, because like it basically helps you like clean up your seams without having to serge your seam allowance. I folded in the length and sewed it. Then at the waistline, I fold in the 3 allowance inwards. Pinned it severally. Once the folding was done, I sewed it, leaving only about 1 inch space for elastic insertion. And 1.5 inch above the sewed waistline, I did several markings of 1/2 inch, and this is to create a tunnel at the waistline. And then I did another sewing following the marking. And I inserted a 3/8 elastic into the loop that I created and tied it up, and as you can see, the excess of the waistline is being gathered to create this funnel shape at the waist, while the gathers at the top of the waistline is also accentuating your waistline. So this is the design, guys. It's pretty easy. You can try it without having pockets on it if you think that it might be too complicated. So this is the end of the tutorial. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in my next one. Bye.